Guys, we've all been there before. You've booked the day off. You're getting ready to watch your favorite esports competition featuring the best players in the world, and then everything goes to shit.
Final is set to go live. It's Liquid looking for some revenge for their fallen North American brethren as they...
After all, guys, esports hasn't always been the big production that it is today. And while nowadays you're used to top-tier production from your favorite tournaments, there was a time when going to a big LAN event was a bit of a dice roll. So we thought, why not reminisce and take a look back at some esports tournaments from years past that didn't quite go as planned. Here are the top 10 worst esports tournaments so far. Kicking off our list is none other than the Nanyang Dota 2 Championships Cruise Cup. Shortly after being fired from the Shanghai Major, KeyTV decided it would be a good idea to host a 4-team tournament on a cruise ship. The tournament director claimed that they were renting a satellite to ensure a quality stream, but struggled to keep the broadcast running.
If it wasn't before, it quickly became clear aboard the Sapphire Princess that the cruise was less of a Dota tournament than a vacation with lots of poker and video games. This was never meant to be a normal competition, and couldn't be with the numerous obstacles and uncertainties of playing at sea.
Even the eventual winners, Wings Gaming, left with a sour taste in their mouths. You literally had to be there to experience it. Taking the number 9 spot on our list is the Electronic Sports World Cup 2015 in Montreal. ESWC was run by Mondial des Jeux, and despite having run events before, the tournament ran into the typical issues we're used to experiencing from subpar tournaments. We'll get into them in a second, but first, a short break.
I have a magic word for all of you. We are going for a quick break, and we will be right back. Are we really? Are we really? Okay, so I do have some news for you guys.
I am defeated.
I do have some news for you guys. We are going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back.
It is the match that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. Come on, sing along.
Okay. Commercial.
Held during a heat wave in Montreal, the servers overheated on the first day and were DDoSed on the second, leading to long delays that would tire out even the most die-hard CSGO fan. Trust us, we were there. Coming in at number 8 is World Cyber Arena 2015. Taking place in Yunchon, China in December, the climate was extremely cold, which wouldn't normally be an issue outside of the fact that the venue was an hour away from the hotels, and the buses apparently didn't have heating. And that's only the beginning. Plastic chairs and tiny tables were crammed together. There was reportedly no place for the teams to rest.
I saw the players from Empire and I was very shocked. I don't know how to describe the place to you all. Very narrow, very crammed, like the cheap internet cafes beside schools you saw a few years back.
Teams played across from each other, leading to accusations of cheating because they could hear each other's calls.
This actually sounds to me like it is the worst run tournament I've ever heard or seen. Do you guys agree, or do you think it's close, or what?
So, to sum it all up, guys, fuck WCA.
Coming in at number 7 is the ESEA Dubai Invitational 2015. For some reason, Dubai's tourism group thought it would be a great idea to host a gaming tournament in an outdoor venue. The event was meant to take place in the evening when temperatures would be a little more bearable, but with all the bodies and PCs running, it didn't quite work out the way it was planned.
All right, I am down in what can only be described as the heat of it. It is hot down here, the fans are awesome, and they are cheering for their favorite teams.
Games had to be played off stage earlier in the day due to poor scheduling and planning, which led to attendees missing out on a lot of the action.
It is the ESEA Pro League Dubai Invitational here, and we are getting ourselves a little ahead of schedule, let's just say. We're going to be kicking off with the 2 games that are actually meant to be played backstage. They are still backstage, if I'm honest, but we're casting it here from the venue. It's a little bit more down tempo, it's a little bit kind of thrown together.
Probably should have stayed home for this one. Coming in at number 6 is the Major All-Stars Dota 2 Tournament. Major All-Stars took place in Malaysia in March of 2015 and was touted to be the largest Dota 2 tournament ever held in Southeast Asia. Due to internet outages and hardware issues, the first game took more than 5 hours to complete.
There was some big power surge that melted a significant part of the venue where they had to redo all of the cabling.
Now, that wouldn't have been all that bad, except that the player rooms apparently had plastic chairs and were infested with cockroaches. By the time the games did get running, both onstage English casters were tasked with observing, with audio coming from the venue speakers right next to their desk.
So the dedicated obs didn't do any dedicated obs. We had 2 computers. One of them was doing dedicated ob, like one of the casters had to do dedicated obs for the stream on OBS, and the other caster, or the co-caster, was doing the dedicated obs for the feed that was going onto the main screen at the front of the venue that everybody in the venue was watching. We're at the bottom of the court facing the stage right before the stadium seating starts. So we're like prime positioning for the PA to be blaring at us.
The Russian and Vietnamese casters were not so lucky, as they had to persist through PC problems. Thankfully, there is a slight happy ending to this story. According to Join Dota, the eventual winners, Invictus Gaming, received their full prize money 2 years after the tournament ended. At the halfway point on our list is Iron Gaming Season 1. Having previously produced Halo tournaments, Iron Gaming hosted their first CSGO LAN in July of 2014. Iron Gaming had a bad rep of producing subpar tournaments, and this CSGO event was no different.
Alright guys, welcome back to the second semi-final matchup. It is going to be Na'Vi going up against Armada. And it should be proven to be a really exciting matchup, and I'm joined here with Benson.
Hey, I'm excited. I can't wait. You know, it's about time we go back in the booth together. The incredible duo.
It won't happen.
After the disaster of an event, the company hosted an AMA and gave excuses which were quickly disproven by key community figures. And if that wasn't enough, Get Right tweeted out in 2017 that they never received the full payment for winning the event. Should have seen that one coming. We all saw the number 4 entry in this list coming, and few tournaments remind esports fans of poor production more than Valve's infamous Shanghai Major. Now, production issues are forgivable. After all, shit happens, even at a $3 million tournament. But Shanghai was on a whole nother level of disaster.
Hello and welcome to the Shanghai Major presented by Perfect World. We're live and police monitored at an undisclosed location. I am Sir Too Good, your host for this event.
After the public firing of James Too Good Harding and the original production team in Key TV, the broadcast tightened up. But things were falling apart behind the scenes as well.
Alright, so the welcoming ceremony was actually canceled or something? I don't know. Production value.
From poor scheduling to awful accommodations, the players and talent persevered. But even after the tournament had ended, the nightmare continued as equipment was lost by the hotel staff and local authorities were even involved. Our number 3 entry takes us to the island of Saint Martin in the Caribbean, where VXG took place. VXG was claimed to be the greatest tournament in fighting game history.
When VXG is done, and I'm telling you right now, VXG will be the greatest event in fighting game history. It is going to set a new standard, a new template. You are going to be caught between East Coast Throwdown, Evolution, and then the aftermath, which is VXG.
Organized by Triforce, the owner of Empire Arcadia, notable players attended the event despite his reputation of not fulfilling his promises. Before they were set to begin the top 8, players were asked to sign a contract that stated they would receive 33% of their prize money after the event, while the remainder would be paid out at a later date. The only problem is that they weren't, and they never received their full payout. Oh yeah, and there was also an alleged match-fixing scandal during the MVC3 finals as well.
We didn't plan collusion, you know, we didn't say we were gonna do it. It was not planned. It was not planned. It just happened, I think, due to bad circumstances.
What a disaster. We're taking you all the way back to 2012's India Gaming Carnival for our runner-up spot. The tournament was supposed to be one of the biggest events of the year with a more than $300,000 prize pool for featured games.
So we believe that esports in India is at that stage right now where it needs that push. And with IGC, we are providing that push to make it the big picture it needs to be.
Sure, India Gaming Carnival had all the usual issues you'd expect, such as poor player conditions and equipment, but it's not often you end up at an esports tournament fearing for your life. Moscow 5 were one of the international teams that attended the event despite receiving warnings from Fnatic and Natus Vincere. The team ended up reaching the semi-finals, at which point the organizers decided to actually shut down the entire event by cutting off the electricity as well as all contact with the teams. As the team was waiting for a taxi to return to their hotel, they spotted 4 thug-like men that followed them even after they got into their taxi. When they woke up, their room had been broken into and robbed of money, as well as an 8GB memory stick containing footage of the entire shit show. You can't make this shit up. Taking the top spot on our list for most disastrous tournament of all time is Gaming Paradise, which, contrary to its name, was anything but for everyone involved.
Shittest fucking event that has ever happened, to the point where people are literally grateful to get out of the country with their lives, let alone their fucking prize money.
Seriously, Gaming Paradise should have just been called Gaming Hell, as it had all the telltale signs of a poorly run tournament. For starters, bad hardware that didn't show up on time, causing hours of stream delays.
Yes, the computers were set up at 6 p.m. at the day of the event, which should have started at 9 a.m.
The hotels and production equipment weren't paid for, which led to players' passports being held by the hotel and the police being called.
When we figured out that the venue isn't paid, the hotels wasn't paid, we thought, okay, what's with the, if nothing is paid, how can we expect that players will get their prize money when they win?
The Dota 2 tournament was cancelled altogether. And to cap it all off, according to G2 Esports, then Titan, the CSGO prize money was never paid out. Our own Daniel Rosen said it best.
Esports production has come a long way in the last couple of years. So remember, next time you're complaining in Twitch chat about how bad a tournament seems to you, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been Gaming Paradise.
Guys, trust me when I say that top 10 list was as hard for us to make as it was for you to watch, and I just hope we never have to do a part 2. And if you are interested in taking a bit of a deeper dive into our #1 entry, that would be Gaming Paradise, why not check out our full-length video on that very tournament, titled The Worst CSGO Tournament Ever. Seriously, that shit was worse than Fire Festival.
We didn't kill anybody, nobody got hurt, we made a mistake, we'll get past it.
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content just like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button.